Hello children. So today we are going to continue with factors affecting friction. So yesterday so far we have learned the friction and the causes of friction. Let's have a quick recap. So the friction means it's an opposing force that opposes the motion of one body over the surface of another body, means it is called as friction. So yesterday we have learned about this through with some examples and causes of friction. Causes of friction: the surface of solids etc. that appear to be smoother are not actually smooth. They possess some irregularities, that is ridges and grooves. So these are the causes that brings out a friction. So in order to study, today we are going to continue with factors affecting friction. So factors affecting friction means we have some kinds in which friction affects on nature of surfaces. Okay, nature of surfaces. Where nature of surfaces, how does it takes place? More is the roughness, more is the friction. So what happens in the road while constructing road? Okay, say for example, if this is the road, okay, construction of roads, what happens? They civil engineers, what they do, they make the road rough. So more the roughness, more the friction takes place. So these are the factors that affects the friction. As how the rough it will be, that much it will be taken for more ridges. Okay, more ridges and grooves will be taken so that they get interlocked. So what happens? They get interlocked, so that will carry out an friction. So when they get interlocked, as we have studied yesterday, when they get interlocked, that will carry friction. Okay, so nature of surfaces it takes place on. Similarly, let us take one other example. So here we have seen with roads. Similarly, in construction of tiles also. Tiles, the whatever which we use in our construction of house for flooring, tiles. So there also it seems to be rough, but it seems to be smooth ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ ನಮಗೆ. ಟೈಲ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ತುಂಬ ಸ್ಮೂತ್ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ, ಬಟ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಸ್ಮೂತ್. ಈವನ್ ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ರಫ್ ಇನ್ ನೇಚರ್, ಲಿಟಲ್ ರಫ್ ಇನ್ ನೇಚರ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ವೆರಾಸ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಸ್ಮೂತ್ ಬಟ್ ವೆರಿ ಲೈಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ರಫ್ ಇನ್ ನೇಚರ್. ಸೊ ಲೆಟ್ us take one other, that is weight. So factors affect friction in weight also. So in weight, what happens? Normal force, okay, where more is the weight of the body, more is the friction. So what happens? More the weight, more the friction. So that is what we have written here. More is the weight of body, more is the friction takes place. So let us take it as a box here. This contains some more weight on the surface of ground. Okay, so surface of box on ground. The box is here, more the weight. This box contains more the weight of body, so that more the friction takes place. Here on surface of the ground, the more friction takes place. Similarly, friction factors effects of friction takes place in surface area in contact also. Okay, where surface area is in contact, here also the friction takes place. So let us see how does it takes place. More is the surface area of contact, more is the friction. So what happens? More in the surface area. Surface area ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಮೋರ್ ನಾವು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಕ್ಯುಪೈ ಮಾಡಿದಷ್ಟು ಫ್ರಿಕ್ಷನ್ನು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಲೆಟ್ us take a boy is pulling. Let's take a boy here. Let's take a boy here. Okay, a boy has tied a toy. This is a toy. Okay children, I am showing this as a toy. Okay, so what this guy has done, so a boy is pulling the toy on the surface of ground level. So more is the surface area of contact, more is the friction takes place. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ನಮಗೆ ಪುಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್ ಏರಿಯಾ ಏನು ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ, ಆ ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್ ಏರಿಯಾ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಅಪಾನ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ the friction takes place. So that is why we call it as surface area in contact. Okay. So then moving on to method to reduce frictions. So methods to reduce frictions, to overcome this, what happens? So in order to study this, let's have a quick recap on a textbook, that is factors affecting friction. So this is the activities that you can conduct at your home. Okay, these are the activities that you can make out or conduct at your home and send me the videos. So go through with this and do the activity. So what happens? Friction is caused by the irregularities of two surfaces in the contact, isn't it? That we know already, that friction is caused by the irregularities of two surfaces in contact. Even though the surfaces which appear very smooth have a larger number of minute irregularities on them. So that's what I told you in the example of tiles. Tiles alli namge adu smooth ansute, but whereas the roughness also will be there on the tiles. So irregularities of two surfaces lock into one another, so they get interlocked. When we attempt to move any surface, we have to apply a force to overcome interlocking. So idara interlock agbitre ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? We need to apply in order to move, isn't it? We need to apply some force in order to move. On the rough surfaces, there are a large number of irregularities. So ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, on rough surface ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಆ rough surface ಅಲ್ಲಿ there is a large number of irregularities ಇರುತ್ತೆ. So irregularities ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ, we have to obviously put some more efforts of forces, ಜಾಸ್ತಿ effort of force ಹಾಕಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. So the force of friction is greater if a rough surface is involved. So rough surface ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ನಾವು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ force apply ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ in order to move a object. Okay, this is the factors affecting friction. I want you children to do this activity. Okay, so now let us come to methods of reducing friction. Okay, method to reduce friction. So in methods to reduce friction, making the bodies streamlined. Okay, making the bodies streamlined, that is wider for middle and narrow for ends. Let us take example of fish. Okay, so if this is the fish, what happens? Narrow at ends and wider at middle. Okay, wider at middle it will be and narrow at the ends. So what happens? Making the body streamlined. So in a streamline means wider in the middle and narrows at the end. So friction takes place in liquid also, as we already know. So here taking an example of fish, let's take I'm not so good at drawing. So if this is the fish, narrow from ends, wider at the middle. So we have chosen the example of fish. Area will be less. Where the area will be less, friction will be also less. So area ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದ್ರೆ friction ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Area ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇದ್ದಷ್ಟು friction ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. So in the other way to tell it as converting into wheels. So in order to convert into wheels, it reduces the friction. So wheels have rolling functions. Okay, wheels have rolling functions. So they can reduce friction by using wheels, because rolling function takes place. Rolling function ಆದರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, wheels they reduce friction. Surface area will be less in contact, isn't it? So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇದು surface area ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ this will be very less in contact. So they can reduce the friction. So similarly, let's take an example here. You can see in the textbook that here rolling reduces friction. A guy is there, he is pulling the trolley. Okay, where it contains two wheels. This helps in reducing the friction. Okay children, this wheel what is there, the surface area will be less taken in contact, so that it will be reducing the rolling systems of wheel. I hope this was clear in order to reduce the friction. So these are the two things that I have chosen here and explain about the reducing of friction. Now let's have some questions based on. Okay, why does the sole of your shoe is grooved? So grooved andre ee tara shoes alli sport shoes iruttala adralli you can see this will be, it will be like this, like grooved. Why is it so? Why is it so? So it is due to, it is grooved in order to provide better grip. Grip sigakoskara ನಾವು groove shoes na ತಗೋತಾರೆ. Sportsmen almost take the groove shoes because to get a better grip on the floor so that we can move safely. ಸೊ ಓಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅವರು ಪ್ಲೇಯರ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಏನಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಸ್ಮೂತ್ ಶೂಸ್ ತೊಗೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಓಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಲಿಪ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ದೇ ಮೇ ಫಾಲ್ ಡೌನ್. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ದೇ ಡೂ, ದೇ ಟೇಕ್ ಸಮ್ ಗ್ರೂವ್ಡ್ ಶೂಸ್ ಸೊ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಗಿವ್ಸ್ ದ ಬೆಟರ್ ಗ್ರಿಪ್. ನೆಲಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಅವ್ರು ಕಾಲಿಟ್ಟು ಓಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ಗಿವ್ಸ್ ಅ ಗ್ರಿಪ್. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಗ್ರೂವ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಟು ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ better grip on the floor so that they can move easily or safely. So this is like grooved shape. Shoes ge ee tara groove madirtare kelgade. You might have seen in crickets. Okay, cricket football players, they'll be carrying out such like this. So the next question we have is, why brake pads are used in brake system of automobiles and cycles? So ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸೈಕಲ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ನೀವು ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಟು ದ ವೀಲ್ಸ್ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ಟೂ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಪ್ಯಾಡ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ವೆನ್ ಯು ಅಪ್ಲೈ ದ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಪ್ಯಾಡ್ಸ್ ದಟ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಇನ್ ಕಮ್ ಕ್ಲೋಸರ್ ವಿತ್ ದ ಟೈರ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ದ ವೆಹಿಕಲ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಸೈಕಲ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ದ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲನೇಷನ್. ಇನ್ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಟು ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಫ್ರಿಕ್ಷನ್ ಸೊ ದಟ್ ದ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಇನ್ ಅ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ವೇ. ಸೊ ನಾವು ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಅಪ್ಲೈ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸೈಕಲ್ ಅಂದರೆ here this side as well as on the both side the brake pads will be there. Okay, when you apply brake pads they come in contact with the cycle tube or the wheel. So brake apply ಮಾಡಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಈ ಥರ ಹಿಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ so that it will be easy to stop the vehicle or cycle. So when we are driving the vehicle, the pads do not touch, isn't it? When we are driving, the pads do not touch because run ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, it will be on some speed. So when we apply, that's what we have written here, when we are driving the vehicle, the pads do not touch the wheels, but as soon as we apply brake lever, the pads arrest the motion of rim due to the friction and the wheel stops moving. So ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ನಾವು ವಿತೌಟ್ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ at certain speed the cycle or the vehicle will be moving. When we apply brakes, they come in contact and they help in stopping or moving the vehicle. Okay, similarly we have one more question, that is why we sprinkle powder on carrom board. Okay, ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಸ್ಪ್ರಿಂಕಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ carrom board ಮೇಲೆ ಪೌಡರ್ನ? It's due to when powder is sprinkled on carrom board, it smoothens the surface and ಸ್ಟ್ರೈಕರ್ ಮೂವ್ ಸ್ಮೂತ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಕೇರಮ್ ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ಮೇಲೆ ನಾವು ಈ ಥರ ಪೌಡರ್ ಹಾಕಿದಾಗ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಸ್ಮೂತರ್. ಸೊ ಒನ್ಸ್ ದ ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಸ್ಮೂತರ್, it when we while playing with striker, when we play, it will be easy. Okay, it will be easy in moving the coins. Okay, so these are some 3 questions that we have in this chapter. There are little more. We'll continue with the next session. I want you children to write this in your homework books. Okay, thank you so much.